Have you ever pushed a beach ball underwater? What happens? It pops right back up. Have you ever pushed a baby underwater? What happens?
The baby fucking dies.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
I bought these cheap mic cables.
Yeah.
Don't touch them, because whenever you do, your hand comes away smelling like burning metal. I don't understand what that's about.
Cool.
I don't know why, but that is apparently a thing that happens now.
These mic cables look like the sort of bungee cords that you would like do to like gouge out your friend's like elbow.
Yeah.
When you were like 8.
Yeah.
And didn't have enough supervision. Like hook the inside of the elbow, like just real good. Where'd you
find this?
Where'd you get these mic cables from?
This was the same place I got the new interface, a Music Go Rounds, like a secondhand music shop.
Yeah. So did you get so you get the mic cables from the orphanage fire?
I must have. Yeah, they're like $9. So they had to have been.
Jeez.
They had to have been.
Don't eat the frijoles at Music Go Round.
Yeah. I was driving back from, I don't remember where I was going. I think I was going to Nickel Flicks. This is a little place you can get, I'm going down Gravois. It's this big road, goes all through St. Louis. And there's this dude in a tricked out Mustang.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Burning the fuck out. The dude was just, he's going nuts. You know, there's people in traffic and stuff, and he's getting real close to him. And then he almost hits a guy. The guy flips him off. He pulls over into a little parking lane right outside the Heavy Anchor, and he starts to get out.
Yeah.
You know, like, and as I drive by, sleeveless red Cardinals tee, backwards cap, Oakley's, and what is that on the side? That's right, the Punisher logo with the thin blue line. Every fucking stereotype was just all in one.
Fucking Southside Hoosier. Dude, that spot right there outside the Heavy Anchor there on Gravois, you'll just find all kinds of weird shit. I remember one time, gosh, it was like 10 years ago, I was shooting a show, and then like Bruiser Queen were doing like a DJ night or something.
Oh, yeah.
At Heavy Anchor. And I had to park across the street just because of the direction I was coming from. And so I had to technically jaywalk across Gravois at 10 at night, which ain't really like a hard thing to do. But there was some guy in like a fucking shit kicker truck came by as I was like in the middle lane. I was not walking in front of him. There was no way this guy was ever going to hit me unless he fucking floored it.
Yeah.
But he slowed down just enough to call me the N-word. and I just remember thinking like, man, that's just great. You know, like I think I was having like kind of a long day, and I was like, that's all I needed was like some dude look like melted Kenny Chesney,
right?
Just being like, just like slowing down, just being like,
yeah.
And I'm like, cool. What does that add to any of our days? What's the net positive?
None
on that interaction.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like that little spot right there.
Yeah, that is that little spot right there. These guys are just roided out over there. I don't know. But this past week has been a bit of a roller coaster online. I got so much stuff to get to. I want to jump right into it. We found another guy, Bryan. K. Thor Jensen gets the credit for this one. He, of course, we mentioned in a previous episode about Old Man Murray and a bunch of the other Portal of Evil sites. He's still a hilarious Twitter personality. His post is simply, I will never leave this website. The person he's quoting, people assume because of my name that I fit into a box of sorts. Meet my wife, who has a lot in common with me. That's why we are great life partners. We're both passionate about what we believe, love family, we have 7 kids between us, and have fun in most things we do. Now that's pretty normal, except for the user's name is John Hittler. John Hittler, ladies and gentlemen, with 2 T's, by the way. John Hittler.
I don't fit in a box, but most certainly fit in an oven.
Me and my wife, we have a lot of fun.
Me and my Frau wife, We go down. We go down to the train tracks and we wave goodbye to the people. We're just a normal, happy American suburban couple.
We go having a schwitz, we're going to the pool and we're just having a good old time and there's a movie theater. And
I love my dog Blondie.
Yeah, that's right. God damn.
And then sometimes my cousin, she come over and we do water sports. Oh, it's so much fun. Oh, gosh, I love... It's a gas. At this point, I'm just going to start ripping off lines from Heil Honey, I'm Home.
Yeah. Chuds of TikTok, of course, responding, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, 6'5" man with the last name Hittler. Sir, you could literally start a cult if you wanted to. So many great responses.
Just to stroke my ego a little bit here, I did get faved by Chuds on TikTok.
Hell yeah.
Juniper from the great podcast Western Kabuki was making some tweet about 9/11 conspiracies and it's like a sacred holiday, then you gotta do like special preparations. I was like, don't forget to collect all your loose change. Which that was the only person who liked it was Chuds of TikTok. Thank you.
You know what? Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Oh no, it's great.
Make sure to collect all your loose change for
it's true.
George Soros. I don't know.
We've got a 9/11 post coming up in a minute, but we're gonna jump a little bit further back in the previous week. Apparently, a air conditioning company had a Facebook page that was co-run by the wife and husband. Mm-hmm. Oldsmar Air Conditioning. Well, August 26th, they posted, Oldsmar AC is no longer in business. Thank you for your support over the last 10 years. Unfortunately, Eric has decided being involved romantically with a 17-year-old is more important. Due to his horrific actions, we've been forced to close the company, cancel all insurance, general liability, and workman's comp, and can no longer legally work in the county where they're located. Please be aware you may be subjected to criminal prosecution and up to a $10,000 fine if you continue to authorize Eric, last name, to perform air conditioning services. Again, thank you for your support, and I deeply apologize for any and all inconvenience. Eric, you're a disgusting and a disgrace. Yeah, that's a...
Talk about owned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any man...
Hope you got $10, Eric.
Hope you got $10,000, dude. Yowza.
Gosh, you've been permabanned from life.
My dude's about to be. Jesus Christ.
Man, his business, it's the exact opposite of a Dear Richard.
Exactly. His business, his marriage, he's not going to see his
absolutely kids. All his credit cards have been canceled. He goes to the bar, nobody will serve him.
Unbelievable. Some of these things, man, I can't get over them. Our good friends over at Today in Tabs had a great little newsletter about a Allison Davis New York Magazine parenting and adult friendship story that was called Adorable Little Detonators. Our friendship survived bad dates, illness, marriage, fights. Why can't it survive a baby? Now, I have experience in this. I know some friends who have completely checked out once we had kids, and it's been a while. The quote here from the article: I felt judged, as if my friends were treating my decision to remain child-free as transitional, despite my once having shown up to a baby shower, bemoaning how insane it felt thanks to the plan B I'd taken the night before.
Hell yeah.
And declaring it worth it because, quote, no fucking way did I want a baby.
I'd party with this person.
I remember sitting by the pool one summer with Liz, this is the friend, she's bemoaning the death of the friendship. As she cradled her 1-year-old, it felt like our friendship was finally coming back to life. We had had dinner and hours of conversation for the first time in ages the night before. I was rehashing the details of a recent situationship that had defined my summer. She mm-hmmed absent-mindedly and nuzzled her son as he ate a peach. It was a sweet moment between them, and I thought I was touched to see my friend as fully mom. She was so distracted, or focused, depending on the perspective, she didn't notice as I trailed off. I snapped a photo of the two of them and just stared at my phone in silence, wondering who else I could start to hang out with.
God damn.
Yeah, and it just continues on like that. My friend Liz reminded me that I had once mom blocked her. She had just had her second child. It was her birthday weekend, and I threw a backyard barbecue with all of our friends and did not invite her. You just had a C-section, I said in my defense. I knew you wouldn't come. I didn't want to taunt you. I actually had a very easy, very quick vaginal birth, she corrected me. I had been telling the story wrong for a year. And yes, she couldn't have come. Obviously, she couldn't have. But would it have been so much effort for me to invite her? What I didn't tell her, and what I guess she's finding out now, is although I didn't mean to hurt her, the slight was not completely unintentional. Her second baby had kicked off my friend group's baby boomlet. A bigger part of me than I'd like to admit was irritated. When did all of my interesting friends become so conventional and heteronormy? I felt disappointed in this. This isn't about you!
Well, you know what though?
God damn it!
You know what though? This is the sort of person that really hated John C. Reilly and We Need to Talk About Kevin. And
oh, Jesus Christ.
We just need to, we can't raise a kid here.
If you haven't seen the movie,
it's so weird. It's so weird. Like John, he does a fantastic job.
Yeah, no, but
it's just so weird that it's like it's Steve Brule.
Yeah,
he's been like, we can't raise the kid here, you dingus.
Yeah, it's for his health.
It's gonna die here.
I don't bemoan that mother because, this woman sounds like a nightmare to be friends with.
This person, this person sounds awesome. Like I totally, identify.
You would side with the friend over the mom.
I've known some really tedious people about their children, like people I've known.
Every parent is tedious about their children when they're first two. You know, it's gonna happen. But you can't just like blow up a friendship.
No, I mean, like not like blow up a friend. Like I'm just not like going to try and like make plans around that person for a minute.
Yeah, and that's fine. But man, then it becomes years, and then you just never see the person again. Which is exactly what happened to me, and it sucks.
There's like people I went to high school with that I haven't seen in years. I was like still friendly with like online, like post high school for quite a while, and they get married and they have kids, and then I start hearing from like our mutual friends about like, like they got all these fucking kids and it's just kind of a bummer to hang out with them because you got to wait for them to go to bed before you can like smoke weed and watch, like Discovery Channel. And I'm like,
sure.
Yeah, that does sound kind of lame when we would just go over to his apartment and do that.
Right. Okay. Like it depends on that friend, but like, man,
I can understand as a parent or a child haver, a breeder.
Child haver. Breeder.
Damn. That you might feel a little defensive here. You feeling called out, Jason?
Just a touch, yeah.
You feeling...
My kids are 13 now, so they're cool.
Why don't you have some more kids about it?
Yeah. If I hadn't had that accident on a bicycle. But, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I get mad on behalf of the mom because I've been there, but oh boy.
Oh, we're talking about a guy who absolutely positively should be redacted.
Yes. Tim Gurner, founder and CEO of the Gurner Group, which based on what I understand doesn't actually do or produce anything, said...
Oh, excellent. So he's a useless eater?
Yeah, thank you. Said at a Financial Review Property Summit, quote, "We need to see pain in the economy. Unemployment needs to jump to 40 to 50%. Employees think employers should be thankful for them. We need to kill that." Which, of course, prompted a lot of people to talk about redacting these guys and doing all sorts of nasty things to them. Of course, I said if I said what this made me think, I would be banned in an instant.
Oh, gosh. The ATF would be knocking down my front door. And it's the most terrifying thing about this guy.
This is the same guy.
It's the avocado fucking toast guy.
That's right.
The reason why like you can't own a house.
Yeah.
It isn't that house prices have quadrupled in 20 years. It isn't that wages have stayed stagnant in comparison to everything else. It's that y'all can't stop buying that avocado toast.
That one interview, that one time, started an entire fucking thing. Every time I hear people older than me talk about, the younger people, fucking avocado toast comes up. This one guy says some dipshit thing in Australia, and my dipshit uncle-in-law thinks he knows exactly what the problem with kids these days is. That's fucking insane to me. $22 a pop for avocado toast, by the way, is over fucking priced. If you ever pay for that, you are probably making bad financial decisions to begin with. Let's go there.
I think the only time I have ever had avocado toast or been anywhere that you could buy it, I think it was under $10.
Right.
And it was fine.
It's 2 ingredients. It's bread and avocado.
This had like locks on it, or like this was like a little.
Even so, shouldn't be more than $10.
Yeah, it was fucking tasty. It wasn't as filling as it should have been, but as far as like a experience, like it was whatever. It was fine. I'm not going to eat it every day. I don't think anyone's bankrupting themselves for avocado toast or Quiznos.
They're standing outside the breakfast restaurant, just like holding their arm, like Daddy needs a taste. I just need to get a little bit just to get me through the day, baby.
They're sitting there. They finally get an avocado and they're waiting for it to ripen. They're like dropping it on the sidewalk.
Come on. Yeah. They're having a time with it. Yeah, they got to go to like avocado meetings and have they got an avocado sponsor. It's just a guy named Jose.
It's just a bunch of guys with and like the real rough addicts are. They got like a knife mark through their palm.
Stains from the avocado skin on the palm.
God, my favorite thing about cutting up an avocado is like you kind of cut the outline.
Yeah,
with the center as your focal point,
right.
And then you can like crack it open, and then you just like slap the blade of the knife into the fucking pit.
Yes.
And you rip it out. And you're like, this is what it must have been like to be like French during the Revolution.
Yeah, you're cutting something vital out of someone. With like something super sharp.
And then you just like chuck it into the fucking
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Someone who calls themselves a Camille Paglia stan, so let's go ahead and let that dog out of the cage. Oh, you got misgendered, you poor thing. In 2001, on September 11th, I witnessed 2 airplanes fly into the World Trade Center. I was 11 years old. Your trauma is being called the wrong pronouns. Shut the fuck up. They finally made 9/11 a thing you can attack trans people with.
Finally.
It took them long enough.
Did Building 7 collapse because it was misgendered?
I identify as thermite. I can't get a good one off because I can't fathom that level of like pettiness to be like, oh yeah, you're having some dysphoria, huh? Well, I saw 9/11, so shut up. What the fuck is this? What does it have to do with anything? What do you?
It's just grievance. It's just
I know.
being mad at the world, being unimportant and feeling unimportant in the world and realizing that all of this terribleness you can't control, but the one thing you can do is focus your terribleness on a minority population.
Oh, yeah? Well, what about 9/11? Fuck, I thought we left this behind 20 years ago. I thought we...
Just like Benghazi.
It ain't going away.
It ain't going away.
Well, I mean, for a couple of years after 9/11 actually happened, you could turn about just about anything and be like, yeah, well, no, what about 9/11?
Yeah.
But now, 20 years removed from that period, right before we re-invaded Iraq, I think, it's kind of lost a little bit of that luster. It doesn't have the juice anymore. You can't get someone with the what about 9/11. It's been too long.
Now the what about 9/11 is like, boy, that was bad, like invading Afghanistan. And
yeah, you could do that, but I mean, that's a little bit more fresh, at least. But fucking
sure.
Like, you got called the wrong gender. Well, I want. It makes me think of that Brian Regan bit where he's like at a party with Neil Armstrong, and anyone has a story. Neil Armstrong's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, well I walked on the moon."
Yeah,
it's that same shit.
There's 2 chicks at once. You just be like, "It's cool, man," but what about the moon?
Yeah, the moon. I've been there.
Been there. Thought about golf.
But a flag, maybe you've seen it. Just well, what about? Jeez, I can't get over that. Just like, what about 9/11? What about it?
Did I tell you that on 9/11 in my math class, I was sitting next to this kid, and we're just like watching like CNN, and they got Tom Clancy on there.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Rattling like a fucking VFW hall during an earthquake.
Well, he had the hat on. He had the POWMIA hat on.
But I just remember the kid sitting next to me. Just being like, I don't know if he really had anything to do with it, but Saddam's fucked. And I just remember being like, damn, you might be right. And that kid has gone to live a life where I sometimes think he is a government asset. Like he's like gone to school in China, has like dual citizenships all over the world. Like we're still Facebook friends. Like is this one of those things where like either you just like have like a really weird life or like you've like are going to like knock over a government like in Africa one day.
I was in college. I was in my dorm, sleeping in with my girlfriend, which would later be my wife.
My wife.
Thank you. My roommate was this real meathead.
It's like, bro,
Yeah.
someone doesn't know how to fly, dog.
No, he was going to be junior ROTC anyway because he was already like gung ho. He was going to go do his service or whatever. And he barges in. It's a dorm where we have the bunk beds, and he's on top and I on bottom. And I had my girlfriend stay over, so he was like on the couch watching TV in the middle of the night. Barges in, he's like, "Dude, we're going to war." I'm like, half awake. Dave, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And then he's like, "Come on, check it out," and pulls me to the little communal area that we had, and right as he starts pointing at the television, the second plane hit. And I was like,
Jesus.
"Fuck, Dave, I think you might be right."
Oh, jeez. Oh, God.
Yeah, just what a weird thing to have happen. Hey, dude, we're going to war.
Yo, check this out.
Yeah, what?
Is that? Oh, dude, that wasn't supposed to happen yet.
They're like early, yeah. I missed my flight. Anyway.
Did you see the tweet about the guy that was talking about, he was like kind of talking about his 9/11 experience, about he was almost on one of the flights, but his coworker
told him not to take the job.
or told him not to take because they don't
like
take
an
that flight.
yeah.
It was like take a train or take or drive. It was going to be
that's
more
right.
efficient.
He didn't take the job either because he
I can't remember how it goes.
He did the interview and didn't take the job. It's such a
No,
weird...
I don't think we're talking about the same thing, because this guy
not
this guy seems like an absolute fucking parasite and a terrible human being, because he talks about basically how his coworker, who I think might have been a subordinate in some way, saved his life by recommending that he does not take this flight,
and he fired her. That's right.
Yeah. You kept me from getting 9/11, but your work performance really leaves something to be desired.
Oh, fuck. I had forgotten about that. It was such a weird day with all kinds of 9/11 tweets. That one just kind of...
Oh, with the worst fucking thing at work.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Well, no, it's just every single person coming in, and they're checking stuff in, get repaired, whatever. And they're like, "What's today?" And I'm just like, and it's all fucking shit kickers.
Right. Like, you
And
said
I
never
really
forget.
want, like, it's this there. Like, if I were a bad open mic comedian, this would be just like fucking pot shots left and right. Because everyone's like, "What day is it?" And I would be like, "Oh man, I thought y'all said you never forget."
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is my favorite knock knock joke, by the way. It's knock knock, who's there? 9/11. 9/11 who? You said you'd never forget.
Yeah. But just the whole entire fucking day, everyone's just like, "What day is it?" And I'm like, "It's the 11th."
Yeah, you're wondering if they're baiting you.
Yeah.
I would be wondering that too.
I mean, I know, like, normally I don't necessarily look this like I need to get fucking trimmed up. I'm starting to look like the sort of guy that would get an STD from a condom blowjob at Sturgis. So
Sure,
I
sure.
feel like I'm blending in a little bit better.
A little bit too much, maybe.
I don't know. I don't put on like a quarter pound of like fucking beard grease every morning like some guys
That's
in that
fair.
world
That's fair.
do. But anyways,
We got one more thing. Well, two things. Apparently, Mexico did a big press conference the other day saying, "Here's some aliens."
yeah.
And it was very quickly like debunked. Like these little stone looking critters.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna get fooled by that.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean it looks literally like
it looks like dehydrated chicken.
They say it was found in Peru in 2017. They said they did x-rays and all this stuff, and they said, I can affirm that these bodies have no relation to human beings. Yeah, it's because they're fake. Like it's like it's made of clay. Like
It'd be like Michelle Bachmann showing like an X-ray of the Constitution and be like, "There's nothing here about gay marriage."
Exactly. And then the last thing for the recent events section here, of course, good pal Cat Turd 2 took to Twitter the other day. I'm sorry, he calls it X, so let's respect his wishes. "I'm blocked by Elon Musk. I support President Tupac Trump. I'm throttled. I'm censored. I'm shadow banned. I'm attacked, doxxed, demonized by the liberal press, harassed at my own home by reporters, and I still don't give a fuck. I think I'm turning into an ex-gangsta." Cry laughing emoji. This is like the most I'm not owned a man has ever been.
I guess, is he divorced?
Oh, I don't know, but he definitely gives off.
He gives
the
off some
divorce
divorce energy.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a guy. I would love to be this guy's like weed dealer, because you could charge him any price, and he'd probably be like, $250 for an eighth. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sounds great.
Sounds great. I'm supposed to also smoke the stems? Okay, cool. You're just literally just giving him something that you a
You
literal
could give that
brick.
motherfucker a bag of oregano. He wouldn't know the difference.
I only smoke mids.
Yeah. I don't know if he's actually divorced, but you're right. He does have a divorced dad energy because, boy, he plays in a shitty rock band.
Or played.
He did. That's right. I think he needs to get the band back together. Fucking get off Twitter, dude. Just let's go.
Do anything else. Go do anything else.
Into an ex-gangsta. Fuck you. The fuck are you talking about? All right, Brian, it's time for our favorite part of the show. Of course, it's the Crypto Scam of the Week.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the Crypto Scam of the Week.
We're talking about, of course, Vitalik Buterin, his Twitter account getting hacked to promote a scam. That's right.
That's right.
Vitalik Buterin, of course, inventor, leader of the Ethereum project, hacked to promote a crypto scam. This courtesy, of course, Molly White. Web3 is going great. A tweet posted to his compromised account advertised a commemorative NFT to celebrate the impending release of, quote, proto-dank sharding. I'm sorry, proto-dank sharding, which was the actual name for the upcoming change to the Ethereum protocol. So that is the part that gets me, is that it's not just a joke. Someone is actually using that as a name.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it's a shorthand for something, and it just happened to be like, oh, that sounds clever or good enough.
Right.
I think it's something that's supposed to actually reduce the carbon impact of Ethereum, because that's just good. Yeah. VB's big thing is, if we actually want crypto to be viable in some way, like, it needs to be as efficient as possible, which is probably a more noble thing than most people are doing with crypto.
Oh yeah. Of course, the link was a scam. Anyone who connected their wallet risked having their wallet drained of crypto and NFTs. Some blue chip NFTs were stolen, including 2 CryptoPunks, the floor price of 47 ETH or $76,000. Stolen assets surpassed $650,000 in value within a few hours, according to, of course, the master sleuth on the blockchain, Zach XBT. Although this counts notoriously difficult to value NFTs. The tweet did get taken down about 20 minutes after it was posted. Posting a link to a wallet drainer was probably among the least effective things the attacker could do with the Twitter account of a person whose word can actually move markets. Molly is correct there.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you chose to... You had access to this guy's account, and that's what you chose to do with it?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a wasted opportunity.
Oh, God, yeah. Pump my bags, asshole.
Just anything. I don't know. I feel like
dude,
that's
yeah, fucking post Goatsy.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. Get your special Goatsy NFT.
Yeah, it looks like CryptoPunks.
I'm a lady.
I'm a lady, yeah. A Meebit, a cool cat, a couple other ones there were part of the haul.
Cool cat. I haven't fucking seen one of those in forever.
Yeah, 691K drained, another 33% in drainer fee address. So this is another 73% of that particular wallet was NFTs. 20 minutes. That's all it took to make $500,000. So.
Good work if you can find it.
Yeah. What a hoot. Was there something else that you?
Yeah, Zach, and this one's kind of a little lengthy to explain, but Zach XBT a couple days ago started posting exposés about a couple crypto Twitter influencers, Petrabyte, Trader CZ, a couple other people.
Not the actual CZ, but a guy who called himself Trader CZ.
Yeah, because there's like Trader Dank, StatStart. There's all kinds of people in the crypto Twitter space, but basically what was going around was that there were people that were basically scamming projects.
Okay.
Or saying they were coming onto a project. One of them was PAL AI. Cash ticker is PAAL, where this is supposed to be like an AI chatbot that can help you with trading and like a Telegram channel. They've gotten money from Google, and as far as what they're doing, they seem like they're kind of a little whip smart, but they decided to give like full percent points of the supply to like 2 or 3 influencers who just kind of immediately dumped for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh no.
Which is pretty fucking terrible. These guys dumped and never did they tweet that they had been given tokens or anything like that. They were just kind of really taking advantage of their clout and their Twitter followers to just keep doing this. And there's so many crypto Twitter guys that if you look at a project that they promote that's kind of struggling or isn't like it's not like a blue chip, it doesn't have legs under it just yet, it almost always there's so many fucking charts where it's like I'll see a guy tweet about a project, I'm like, that project's going to be dead in like an hour. Yeah. And I'll go check the chart like before I go to bed, and like I'm like, yeah, you can see here on the hour chart right when he tweeted that was like the top of the chart, and it's just a fucking ski slope down from there.
Now, was this Trader NJ?
Yeah. I think there's a CZ. There's a couple other guys.
Petabyte.
If you want to just see how fucking weird and corrupt and just like how much in the crypto space people can be like very professional and forward thinking, and then like literally just give like $100,000 worth of crypto to just some random guy who's mostly anonymous.
Right.
Probably some dude that lives like in Western Africa or like Northern Europe. That's usually where they are. Every once in a while, they're like a guy that lives in Singapore. The amount of people that just kind of willfully scam in the crypto space is kind of fucking amazing.
Wow, this particular one back on September 10th is a breakdown of how they pumped and dumped 6 figures of shit, and then blaming the projects when they get caught. That's a fun one.
Oh, a lot of times, yeah. And I've seen a couple crypto projects where it doesn't seem like anyone was really trying to fuck anyone over,
and yet,
you know, they give like half a percentage of allocation to like some crypto influencer. He doesn't fucking do anything and just dumps, and you're like, cool. Pretty good example to not get involved with crypto.
Yes,
is that there's just so many ways you can get fucked.
It's not always easy to know who's on the level because some people that might seem trustworthy are taking it on the side. Yeah,
a lot of people, and a lot of people that seem shady all of a sudden will seem trustworthy, and it just looks like a fucking barrel full of piss and shit.
Sounds about right.
Maybe you should go down to your local bank and get like a CD or something. Or
you'd probably be better off. Your rate of return would definitely be better because you'll at least have the money you invested.
This is true.
You won't lose anything, even if your rate of return's like a sub 1%, like it has been for the past year. You're still not losing it. Call a financial advisor. Get somebody who will do it for a fee or something. I don't know. Call a fiduciary. I don't know. Not financial advice. We are not, We're
just two assholes in a garage.
Speaking of assholes in a garage, probably the worst segue for this, but our main topic this week.
That transition was baby soft.
That is, of course, a phrase used commonly by a gentleman who go by the name of Big Ghost. Now, Big Ghost, I was not into this at all until you started sending me links this week. So can you give me the bit of the pressy on Big Ghost?
Sure. So Big Ghost is a mostly anonymous individual who started a blog in like 2010 or 2011 where they were kind of writing an approximation of the syntax and the style, a manner of speech, perhaps you could say, of the famous Wu-Tang rapper Ghostface Killah.
Ah, a.k.a. Tony Starks, a.k.a. Pretty Tony, so forth and so on, yeah.
Bobby Boulders.
Yeah. Yeah, my dude. All right. I love me some Ghost. Right,
yeah. I remember, I think my first exposure was Jay from I Don't Even Own a Television, posting on Facebook, when me and him were still Facebook friends, a link to one of the listicles that this man wrote that was the 5 softest
N-words in the game.
Yeah, you know what? Just to keep us from having the pause, we'll just say dudes.
There you go,
because that's kind of like the white guy equivalent of that word in the way.
If I'm ever at karaoke, by the way, my go-to is brothers or chickens. That's the two.
Chickens.
Chickens is fit.
At least you're not saying ninjas. Like, no, God, I hate that.
That's way too close. Yeah, because especially if you're like 2 loped out chickens going crazy, then I'm like, okay, that's funny.
So. Funny white guy saying the N-word story. And this kind of goes back to what we're talking about. Funny enough.
Yeah.
So I once got to see Ghostface live. It was at 2720 Cherokee.
I missed that show. I heard it was so good.
It was pretty good. The whole entire thing is a big St. Louis fucking music scene vibe. Is a dude won't come to St. Louis for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And they'll come back and they'll be behind their worst fucking thing they've ever done.
Oh yeah.
Like I got to see the first only time I ever got to see A$AP Rock live, what he was touring behind is something I could never give a shit about. You could fucking threaten to shoot me in the foot. I'm like, just fucking. But it was he sold out like Del Mar Hall, and I don't really like a lot of modern Aesop Rock. And I'm like, dude, these new songs are fine. Like, I don't really dig the production. I'm like a Labor Days, like Bazooka Tooth Aesop Rock fan. Float, like the early stuff. And it wasn't until I was like walking out of the venue that he did like a song from Labor Days. And I was like, this is the last song I want to hear from Labor Days. And I'm like, all right, I'm just fucking going home. But it was behind this record where he had like a live band that was like all old white dudes with beards, and they're like, it was like obviously like studio jazz guys. It was like fun. It kind of worked. It was all right. But I remember his hype man was Killah Priest.
Okay.
It was Killah Priest and Ghost.
Okay.
One of the few things that like people really got into was that they did shimmy shimmy yaw shimmy.
Oh damn, yeah, okay.
And Ghost is like, anyone can do.
Oh no, the ODB part.
The ODB part.
Oh no.
And this guy comes up who looks like the most. It was like like if you took the transportation machine from The Fly, and you took a Mark McGuire bobblehead and a Carhartt jacket.
I'm seeing it in my mind. Clear as crystal.
And so just like a chubby white dude from like Jefferson County kind of looking guy.
Yeah.
Like comes up and like Ghost and Killah Priest are like, you can do it? You can do it. Like can you do it? And the guy is like, yes. Like full confidence.
Yeah.
And this white boy, who probably was like 45 years old, proceeds to fucking kill it. However, as he's doing the verse, he's thinking a couple lines ahead, and he's looking at Killah Priest like the word's coming up.
Oh no!
And Killah Priest is like, you kill it, man. Just do it. Just kill it.
I'm like, pass. All right.
He got the pass. Guy said it with the soft A, and people lost their goddamn shit. The dude was a hero, and it was like, that was actually kind of neat. That was a little scary for a second. Like everyone's adrenaline was going. It's like this white guy is about to drop the N-bomb. He can't stop the flow. It's like speed. It's like this guy is locked in, but he's like he knows.
Oh,
he knows it's coming.
Especially Shimmy Ya. Jesus, I mean, it's
this fucking chubby white boy just fucking killed it. Anyways, and that kind of comes back to kind of the weird thing about us talking about Big Coast is that so much is written in a syntax and in a manner of speaking that's a little hard for two white guys in a garage in the Midwest to kind of do.
Yeah, it is it's a very strange choice, but I think we're going to make it work because I personally I love Ghosts and so like I think I can kind of get it.
I don't know the best way to tackle it is, but to kind of get back to what I was talking about, Jay shared this list and I just couldn't stop fucking laughing because everything is so fucking funny and he hates Drake.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more. I think Drake's probably my least favorite rapper, like contemporary mainstream rapper. That was just kind of one of those things, like even 10 years ago, I'm like, this guy kind of sucks. Was he like in Degrassi? Like his name's like Aubrey. These lists that he would write every year, like the 5 wackest dudes in the game, were always so fucking funny because it'd be like Mac Milla, like Soulja Boy, Drake was always on there, J. Cole, just like Lupe Fiasco was there one year.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely fucking savage. And it's hilarious.
Yeah. Wale. When Son brought his slave wave to the game, nobody thought he would amount to shit. Nobody. And they was right.
This guy was apparently so good at writing in this style that Wiz Khalifa, I believe it was, Khalifa, thought that was really Ghost. And like...
He went on a radio show. Was like, yeah, I read this guy, and Ghost did come on and say that wasn't me.
It's all love, fam. Because it was like a blog spot, and the only way I could send you these stories, these links, was like a weird mobile version. Because if you go to the actual blog spot page, like there's some weird fucking shit parked on there, and I can't read it.
Yeah.
So there's this one post he posted in summer 2011. Where is the new softest motherfucker in the game, Wiz Khalifa Rose, and it's a photo of Wiz Khalifa kissing like her navel.
Amber Rose at the fly level.
He's at the fly level. He's getting in there. He's getting that dirty. He want like, girl, I want to taste that dirty penny.
That's right.
But maybe one of the greatest paragraphs of shit talking ever written.
Yeah.
Congratulations, dude. You're in the class that only the human estrogen shake Aubrey can fuck with you in.
Aubrey, of course, being Drake.
Y'all motherfuckers is like Muhammad Ali and George Foreman of soft dudes. If y'all dudes ran towards each other and collided, there would just be a big splash and both y'all dudes would be gone. And all that would be left is a puddle of lotion and some tight-ass clothes on the ground and the aroma of turmoil. Anyways, I ain't got nothing personal against him, but I'm going to probably have to slap the shit out of son just based off of principle alone when I see that dude. Like I told him before, I might go and have to do some harm to him just to restore virtue or some shit like that, know what I mean? So, Wiz, I'm going to braid your arms together when I see you, son.
All right, peace. Damn.
Yeah, just an amazing paragraph of shit talking, and my mixed race girlfriend probably going to be very upset with me.
Yeah, and that's you know what? Okay, that's
because actually we were sitting on the couch this past weekend, and I just remembered this website existed because I was talking about how much I hate Drake, and I was like, oh, who's that guy that wrote Ghostface? And so I just was googling it and was reading stuff, just
reading it off to her,
and she's just like, yeah, it's kind of funny.
Oh boy, when you get that's funny from, oh boy,
I was like, you know what, our guest dropped out because we're stupid, and we need something, and there was some other things I could have taken lead on, but I want to actually do some more research.
Oh yeah,
this one we can just we can get 20 minutes out of this.
In a piece by Passion of the Weiss, they did an interview with Big Ghost in 2020.
Yep.
They referred to his references to Drake, naming him a human croissant who had been bit by the radioactive butterfly. And that his album Take Care was, quote, the code of Hammurabi for dudes with iPhones and females who hate rap. Oh boy, he described a beat as the soundtrack to, quote, quirky white folk like Zooey Deschanel or somebody Wilson exchanging witty dialogue between themselves while trying to save whales and drink warm soy beverages. After a 2011 lawsuit, this is a real thing that happened. Yeah. Wu-Tang Corporate, which I forgot was a thing. Wu-Tang Corporate took legal action to shut down the blog due to what they called an infringement. Basically, you're writing like Ghost, you're doing a Ghost voice. This is our guy. We're gonna take you to court. So, 2011, they got the site shut down, and it was around that time, 2015, Big Ghost actually started producing music on his own.
Yep.
So that is a hell of a thing from a critic to a music creator.
He's actually worked with Ghostface himself, and I listened to a little bit of stuff. It's not bad. It's just kind of like your standard boom bap, kind of doing some piano samples and a little bit of vocals. It's just good. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, some people love it.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of that one that he did with 38 Special, which is A Bullet for Every Heathen.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that was him, so I was like, oh, okay, all right, I like that record.
Yeah, it's got some bangers.
Yeah, so it's very strange to go from that, but here's a 2020 interview during the early days of the pandemic. Passion of the Weiss asking, hope all as well as your end. The lockdown is intriguing. Too bad how you're dealing with it. Big Ghost Limited. I'm already accustomed to locking myself down, so to speak. I'm antisocial. I prefer to be at peace. I enjoy to have time to focus. I do this even when it's not a global pandemic. And then talking about anonymity. I never wanted to be famous. I never craved fame that I would do anything to be poppin', do clown shit. This clout chasing thing was never a factor. If it was, I would have just went viral one time in my life, and that would have been it. You can rely on shock tactics and corny antics, or go find a purpose in what you do. The anonymity allows me to not mix the creative and the personal. Gotta give it up for that. That's a fine line to walk. Let's see here. Made beats since the 90s. It was just never something I had the opportunity to pursue seriously. Same way I could freestyle verses for half hour without repeating myself, but I was never out there like that. I was always like this anomaly. I was cool just having these weapons in my arsenal ready to go. Under blogging, I saw it as my opportunity to silence a lot of the motherfuckers who was asking me what made me feel entitled to shit on artists in my album reviews, or just in general, making assumptions about me off hearsay. And for the little degenerates trying to fabricate my background story, I was like, okay, bet. But let me put this foot on your neck for the next while as far as this music shit. Here it is. You've grown relatively silent about the current crop of rappers, because I do, I'm kind of curious what he thinks about, so I said what I needed to say, and truthfully what I was saying back then can still apply to artists now, but the lack of integrity among artists who could actually make a difference is what made it hard to actually take that shit to the next level. Except for Pusha T, he put integrity before everything else. So, yeah. Does this mean we're going to get a Pusha T, Big Ghost collabo? I wouldn't rule it out. Not a lot.
Even GQ interviewed this guy.
It's true.
Back in the day, which is wild to think about.
I love his riffs on. Let me find this because this was one that just
Lil B.
Yes.
God.
Hey yo, can we get Lil B the fuck out of here now, son? It's the headline. His brother painting himself as a messiah, and Dumb Little Brothers is eating that shit up. Gee, this brother is a fucking retard. B. I be consuming that fast food from time to time, son. Know what I mean? I do be listening to that ignorant shit from time to time. Brothers like Killa and Sean Price don't necessarily supply brothers with brain candy and shit, G. They ain't spreading no message of upliftment or nothing. They ain't picking up where MLK left off or nothing like that. Word is bond. I don't consider that shit fast food either. But there's mad brothers that got their little club joints, and I'm not mad at them. This dude is worse than fast food, son. This brother is the French fries sitting in the oil too long and shit. That's what he represents. There ain't no nutrition left. Son ain't even good enough to hang with the rest of the French fry. Too greasy. Big Sean is a French fry, but you can take something from that at the end of the day. He might got some essential nutrients left in him. There might be some random minerals in that brother's music and shit.
I don't think you like Lil B.
No. This brother's whole existence is offensive to mankind. He's not 12, he's 23. Nas was 20 when he came up with Illmatic, son. You don't want to put the brother like this on a pedestal, though? Calling his album I'm Gay? Nah, son. Fuck this dude. Heart, Pete, and Pulse, son. This is how a lot of brothers get their bread, fam. He's trying to live off this shit and put food on the table with their art. He's taking up space. They're going to argue about he has nothing, hasn't hurt anybody and let him live. No. Son is retarding the game up. He making it so that brothers getting brushed aside for not being flamboyant enough. Fuck out of here with that. Support real hip hop, you morons. All right, peace. He doesn't even have a clever turn of phrase. He just hates this dude.
Yeah.
Fucking hates him.
There's like structure when he fucking talks shit on like Drake or Wiz.
Yeah. But
this is just a block of angry text.
Yeah, he's just done. What a dude. I like this guy.
For many years, I always felt like someone understood me when I said I didn't like Drake.
Yeah.
I worked in this warehouse where we were always listening to 104.1, which is like the local hip hop channel. I'm a little fucking backpacker indie hip hop guy. Like I wrote in my fucking AJJ review that the fucking crowd couldn't fucking wake up for Open Mike Eagle, and I thought that was a little fucking trite.
Yeah.
I've seen some of my favorite rappers play to like 75 people in St. Louis and then they never come back because why would they? Yeah. When they can just go play Chicago or go play Columbia and have fun instead of coming to St. Louis and feel bad that they took this promoter's money. So I don't really listen to a lot of mainstream hip hop.
Right.
And by working with these dudes, we're listening to 104.1. I actually realized like, oh wow, mainstream hip hop is actually really, this is probably like 2 or 3 years ago. I'm like, oh wow, and mainstream hip hop's a lot of fun. This is like Cardi B, West, Pussy era. And like, oh, there's a lot of stuff on here. It's really cool. But every single time I heard something that just like fucking pissed me off. Like I'd be in the middle of something like, yo, we gotta turn that down.
Yeah.
Like, man, what's this fucking angel soft shit going on? And like and they'd be like, oh, that's Drake, baby. I'm like, man, Drake needs to fucking stop. Yeah. Like this dude.
You're not wrong.
That dude's whole life is a pull-out method.
Well, what I really like about Big Ghost in particular is his just turns of phrases, which do sound just like Ghostface. At the top of every page, of course, you are now in the presence of cocaine biceps. He opens his Kendrick Lamar Good Kid Mad City review with, hey, yo, what up? You're now in the presence of the magnificent Phantom Raviolis, a.k.a. the high and exalted shampoo bracelets, the panty melter, otherwise known as the mighty hands of Zeus in the flesh. But y'all won't know me as the glorious cocaine biceps, a.k.a. Galaxy Knuckles, a.k.a. Volcano Hands, or the illustrious Big Ghost himself. He spends 3 sentences introducing himself. And there's a guy in St. Louis here, a guy named Matt Basler. He opens every video just like that. And he is like, hey, it's a.k.a. Matt, a.k.a. Shiny Drawers, a.k.a. Big Dog. That's also a Ghostface thing. Like, Ghost just has so many names for himself. He just like rattles them off. Boy, he really loved this Kendrick album, and I can see why. Kendrick Lamar's future of hip hop. Once in a decade that an MC of this caliber is going to change the way people rap, and then just uses it as an excuse to talk shit on Jay-Z for a while.
For about the last 10 or so years, Jay-Z's been a pretty ripe and good target if you really want to say some shit about where hip hop is.
No, absolutely.
As a white guy in his mid 30s, I like to think I know something about hip hop. But yeah, I think there are a lot of people who don't look like me and who are smarter than me about this stuff that I think have said some pretty poignant things about Jay-Z. Jay-Z's kind of a terrible person.
Yeah, as a person, but also just like as a performer. Or as a not as a performer. I'm sure his live shows are interesting, but as a recording artist.
Yeah.
He has not had a consistently good album since the last one that he did with it was him and Kanye. And even that was mostly Kanye's album.
Yeah.
It was the Watch the Throne.
Yeah.
The biggest laughs I got on that record, the production was all Kanye. It's like, yeah, that's Kanye's album. Jay's.
I mean, it did give us the greatest question in the world, which was who was in Paris?
Who was in Paris? Yes. It's not the album that has the Put the Pussy in a Sarcophagus album, but it is the one right.
That is one of the weirdest. Nicki Minaj fucking eats it up. But I mean, I remember just driving around when that song came out, and we'd just be listening to that song over and over again, just to get to the part where like, you ever had sex with a pharaoh? I put the pussy in a sarcophagus.
Yeah, I mean,
this is one of the dumbest. I mean,
Kanye excels at being dumb, and I think that's where I think a lot of his charm comes from.
Sure, but didn't Jay-Z completely misunderstand what was going on with that song?
With the Monster verse, yeah.
Yeah.
And especially with Monster, it's like, listen to everyone else who's on this track with you. Nicki Minaj, Rick Ross, you got outshined by all of them. Like, how did that happen? You're supposed to be Jay-Z, Hova, you know? Like,
yeah, and then, like, Nicki Minaj was new still.
Yeah.
So, like...
This was like a feature for her. She didn't have an album out. It's always weird talking shit on Jay-Z, but it's also very easy.
Yeah.
So
it's like, you know, Homer, it's very easy to criticize. Fun, too.
He does say about Good Kid, Mad City, he says, you know, I'm saying even Straight Outta Compton had Something to Dance To on it. Even worse, Paid in Full had 2 joints where it was just Eric B. doing some of the worst scratching and cutting down demand. The Blueprint had Jigga That Brother on it. Like, I'm saying even the most classic shit gonna have missteps or whatever. And he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
The Blueprint does have a lot of dog shit tracks on it. And yeah, Something to Dance To? Jesus Christ. How did that... I think that was contractual obligation. They just had to have like one more song on it. Like, here's some dog shit we put together in like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Because every once in a while, I got the satellite radio, and I listen to a channel that LL Cool J put together. It's called Rock the Bells. It's all like classic hip hop. It's great. But then every once in a while, it'll be fucking Something to Dance To will be put on. Like, God damn it. God shit. Get the fuck out of here. Or something dumb like that. Just some like filler track from like a Too Short album. Like, get that out of here. But what he's saying in this is that it is a perfect album. 5 Zeus slaps out of 5.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, as a joke, make sure you all support the realest dude in rap when his album drop next week. And it's Sean Price, cover of the album Mike Tyson.
Amazing.
Yeah. So Gambino, Pretty Tony, 2013, a collab that he did with world's busiest music critic, Anthony Fantano, a.k.a. The Needle Drop. The Needle Drop reached out to him. He literally just posts the text, the chat log between him and Anthony. But I'm kind of feeling this one. You can really feel Anthony's like voice in this. I'm kind of feeling this one.
Anthony Fantano is like, I swear they must have took a photo of him and based like the Facetune algorithm off that guy. I think he has an interesting opinion. I think he's wrong a lot.
Yeah.
I think he's really wrong.
Yeah.
But when he is right, he's usually right in the way that other music journalists aren't.
What makes Needle Drop worth listening to just is the fact that like he has a point of view and it's fairly consistent, and there's no mistaking that like he likes this but he doesn't like that, and he has no bones about like saying, yeah, this just isn't my thing. It's a light 6 or whatever. He's fairly consistent. And when he's wrong about something, he'll come back and be like, you know what? I actually kind of turned on this record and it was actually kind of all right. So that's the thing that's kind of missing, because I don't know these Pitchfork people by name. I don't know any of them. I've never seen their faces. I don't know any of them sound like I read all the reviews and the 4 or 5 different people that are reviewing stuff that I listen to all sound the same.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point of view. There's no personality to it. So at very least, I will give him something like Big Ghost in particular, or, him. At least they have a point of view, a personality. There's something. They're saying something. They're doing something interesting with it. I might not agree with it. Same like Roger Ebert. I might not agree with the movies that they like.
I never understood why Roger Ebert was endorsing Steak and Shake when he couldn't eat solid food. I got in a lot of trouble on the internet tweeting that to him. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
I'm really sorry that I have to I was just one of those things so many times. I'm at the Steak and Shake in North County that always fucks up my food, and I'll sit here and watch these little chevrons on the side of the building. Like Roger Ebert, I give this a 5 out of 5. Like, motherfucker, when was the last time you ate one of these? It wasn't in a blender.
It had probably been a while at that point. You're right, but
maybe that was me, but I was just like, my dude, like.
But I mean, it's a good question. Like, get somebody newer that people know about.
I mean, he was still alive.
No, he was still alive, but you're right. He wasn't eating solid food.
I think it was a new campaign. That was a weird thing. It felt like it was a new-ish campaign. Anyway,
weird. Yeah, that's a very weird choice.
It would be like trying to advertise pants to women in Afghanistan. Just like, huh?
Yeah, wear them. Thank you for bringing Big Ghost back to my attention, because apparently. This is what I needed in my life, was to read.
Yeah, and we can probably our most problematic main subject we've ever done.
Probably, but that's all right. We will do worse, I'm sure, at some point.
Sure.
So, Brian, it's time, of course, for the shock.jpg portion of the program.
Oh, baby.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
Oh, baby. Now, you're familiar with Encyclopedia Dramatica, Brian?
Of course. I was terminally online playing Team Fortress 2.
There was a page on Encyclopedia Dramatica called Girls to Date.
Mm-hmm.
It begins rather normally. It says, scroll down slowly and you'll have the best time of your life. So, of course, there's some attractive women and some nice Japanese women in cosplay. You've got a woman.
I definitely feel that the mindset of the person that put this together.
And then a person fishing a giant turd out of a toilet bowl. And the hairy goatsy man that we've seen before. Goatsy.
Full-on dick suck.
And an alternate take of Goatsy where it shows his little rosebud there, his prolapsed anus. I had not seen that particular photo from that before, as well as other parts of the series, including Kirk stretching his ass with a dildo, some other angles of Goatsy that I've never seen before.
Oh, that was in a lot of FIAD flags back in the day. Yeah.
The whole series, really, just kind of, as you scroll down further and further, more and more.
This is like Long Cat, but for people that don't talk to their parents.
Here's some 2 giant dildos stuffed in Kirk's ass. Yeah, a lot of ass play. It's a lot of the same series, of course. It's a lot of our good friend, the Goat Man, Goatsy, that gentleman showing off. And then George W. Bush.
What's that man doing to his anus?
You mad, bro. Congratulations, you are eligible to live and work in the United States of America.
Amazing.
Fantastic. But when you control someone just by scrolling on a website, that's a fun one. Doesn't take a lot of technology. It's simple.
It's very simple. You need some gross photos and some anime waifus.
And some patience. Yeah, just a lot of fun. Yeah.
That was vulgar.
Girls to Date. A giant turd always gets me. I've seen that one more than once. It's just...
see, it doesn't really faze me because
that's normal for you. That's
part of my...
Yeah.
That's
kind of...
the sin I was born with, and I will carry.
Are you fishing it out and going, look what I did?
Oh, I'm fucking destroying it with an old coat hanger that I throw out the window.
You got a poop knife. Well, Brian, it's that part of the program that everyone's mom and everyone's wife loves.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
It's the breath mint, where we talk about things that are not fishing
not
a
a giant turd.
Yeah. So I'm going to kick off this week because so someone had introduced this to me in the early days of the pandemic. It was How To with John Wilson. And I watched the first season, and at that time, I was like, oh, this is really good. And then I kind of forgot about it. idly clicking around on HBO Max or whatever it's called. I refuse to just call it Max. Fuck that. I'm sorry. It's like Twitter. I'm not calling it X.
One of the most needless rebrands in modern history.
Yeah. So I'm on Max. I'm digging around there, and then it comes up as suggested. Hey, continue watching. I'm like, oh, there's more. And so, yeah, I'm midway through season 2 of How To with John Wilson. What a show. If you've never seen it before, it is a documentary of sorts. It's a guy takes his camera around New York and just films whatever he sees and then pieces it together with a narration that he's written to kind of tell you how to do stuff. So the first season covered some really silly stuff like, how to make small talk or, and the second season has an episode about how to get good at smelling wine. But almost always during the course of this really simple concept of the episode, it goes off the rails at some point. Like there's an episode about scaffolding, which was a big thing in New York City and a couple other places where the construction stuff is going to fall and hit you, so they put the scaffolding up. But then in the scaffolding episode, it turns into a anti-circumcision thing.
What the fuck?
And he goes to the home of this guy who's like got a device that's going to regrow your foreskin. And so there's a guy with his dick out showing you this device. And he's laying in his bed. He's got this all hooked up, and it's got like weights and pulleys. And he's like, "Yeah, this way you can sleep." And full. This guy's got no shame. He knows the camera's there. It's insane what people will do in front of him.
Oh, intactivists are like.
I know intactivists are weird.
Pre-Q, probably the most insane people you could probably meet, like at street corner.
Yeah, and that was. It was literally, he walks to the street corner, he sees this big billboard, and it's about, like, you don't know what you're missing, and like, all these things about, like, intact guys do it better, or whatever. And so he goes on
intact,
this journey.
Were you a dog?
Yeah. But he goes on these journeys, right? There's a whole episode about, wine tasting, and then he winds up going to the guy who made Bang energy drinks' house.
What the fuck? That dude's also insane.
Yeah. You don't ever know where this is going at any given point in an episode, and that's what I think keeps it interesting and fresh to me. It's also just really funny. A lot of visual gags that were not necessarily set up anywhere ahead of time. It's just like every episode is "What up, New York?" and it'll be a shot of something gross. So like, "What up, New York?" is a giant pile of trash, or it's like, "What up, New York?" is a guy puking. Like he clearly is not like New York #1. But he's very aware.
I love this pizza. This is where my dad first had a heart attack.
Right. He's very aware of like the culture and all that stuff, and how like this is just one dude's opinion. He has. And it's one of the finest episodes where he's talking about his landlord is this old Polish woman. And it's the episode is how to make the perfect risotto. And so he's going to make this perfect risotto for her. But as he's filming the episode, COVID-19 is happening in real time. And so it one of the finest pieces of pandemic-related television, because it's very real, it's not cloying, it's not...
Yeah.
It's just like, we're all trying to figure this shit out. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I can give my downstairs neighbor this risotto that I've made, because I don't know if I'm going to kill her because she's a 90-year-old woman who's sick all the time. It captures like a very specific moment in time, but it is also fucking funny. And that is a rare thing. So I want to recommend to anyone who can, How To with John Wilson. Got to get that.
Sounds pretty interesting.
I mean, especially the scaffolding episode. He's going on about scaffolding, and some people will find a way to make scaffolding a part of their sex life, and it cuts to porno of two guys getting jacked off while being tied to scaffolding. I'm like, wow, okay, damn, all right, yeah, I guess that's a thing. If you okay, and then it's
just making sure this is up to code.
It's never mentioned again. It just comes and goes, just like the guy with the foreskin regrower. Those moments just hit you and go, what the fuck did I just see?
That sounds incredibly bizarre. I'm into it.
It's a hoot. And Nathan Fielder, of course, executive produced it, so you kind of know it has that feel to it. And some of the writing is in second person, so you go to see your landlord.
Right.
An interesting experiment. And somewhere in the second season, he switches from you to I, And I didn't notice it until like the next episode. Like, how long has he been saying I? And I had to go back. Like, oh, that's interesting. At some point, he just went, fuck this, I'm saying I. This is actually about me. Bryan, what have you been up to?
Being very sick.
Mm-hmm.
So my girlfriend and I just watched more Saw movies because I was pretty much not wanting to live and unable to live in a normal way for a number of days. And guess who didn't have any 6 days left at work? So I just kind of had a fucking... Yeah, I really hate how much we have politicized health, particularly public health in this country, because, you know, right now as it stands, we have one side of the aisle saying like, oh, you know, COVID isn't real. The vaccine, the jab's gonna let Bill Gates know when you pee. You know, all this
we were
stuff.
supposed to have been dead multiple times by now.
Oh, yeah.
Because of the vaccine.
Dead and gay. And then the other side is like, oh, the pandemic's over.
Yeah.
So both sides are really, I think, trying to, in their own way, create as much death, destruction, and disability as possible. And so it creates yeah. So it creates a thing where like a guy can show up to work, say hypothetically, and have a cough that would clear a fucking city bus, and no one really says much to him about it. Maybe some people make some comments like, "Hey man, you should probably go home." And he's like, "I'm fine." And then you got a guy like me who's fucked up, got long COVID, and all of a sudden I have a infection in my lungs again. But yeah, I'm the one that like feels like he has to walk around work wearing a mask, but that guy doesn't have to.
Right. What a world, dude.
Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this whole like capitalism thing. It's just either one of those things where it's like I feel like as far as the world coming to like a sudden and sharp stop, that like I'm kind of sometimes I feel like, come on, man, just hurry up. Like this ain't getting any better.
Yeah, it might be a net positive.
Yeah, fucking. Let's see what the fucking amphibians got. Let them become hyper intelligent.
Dolphins, whatever. I mean,
so yeah, I've just been feeling like someone's been grinding their heel into my chest for the better part of 2 weeks. So that's cool. Not COVID, just like acute bronchitis.
Which it might as well be just how you feel. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyways, so we watched a bunch
Saw.
And they're all starting to blur together now.
Yes. You're at the 4, 5, and 6 part where it's they're starting to lose the identity of the movies, and it's not really.
Yeah. So
it's essentially 6 episodes of a prestige television series instead of 3 movies.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
So I think when I last spoke about it, I think we got off at 3.
Yes, I believe you.
So then we've watched 4 through 7.
Oh boy. Okay.
And
big chunk of the oeuvre, as you were. Yes.
Yeah, I think 4 is interesting. Where we get introduced to the FBI guy, and
that's 4. So we did talk about 4 last
so we talk about
time,
the 2 guys that you can't tell apart. And then 5, Hoffman he gives himself a tracheotomy.
Oh God, yeah.
And so the whole entire movie, he's got a bandage over his throat.
So at least you can tell him apart.
Like this. Yeah.
At least you got something to go by. Yeah.
So you got that, and then
he gave himself a tracheotomy to get out of a trap that someone had put.
Yeah,
in.
I think actually that part was cool.
Yeah,
I thought that was actually kind of, I mean, there's a little some stuff contrived about it. This is where everything really starts to go off the fucking rails.
Oh, triple double crosses. People who were dead for other movies are now back, and the return of Cary Elwes. Yeah, I love that. Showing up at the end of 6.
Yeah, and so 5. I think might be my favorite that is outside of the first 2.
Right.
Because I think what the individuals do in the main game, that's kind of the thread for everything, is really interesting because you've got 4 people, is it 4 or 5 people that wake up and they're in a trap, and they kind of know what they're in. Like at this point, Jigsaw is a known quantity. And
it's very much familiar because you've seen multiple people in one trap in 2, so you kind of...
There is a British guy who knows what's going on more than anyone else, and no one wants to fucking listen to him. And someone basically leaves him for dead in a second part of this game, and he dies, even though he was the one that probably would have gotten them all like through it alive.
Yep.
And then of course you find out through this like everyone's a piece of shit, and they maybe deserve to be tortured a little bit. that was interesting. I think that was probably like one of my favorite sequences in the whole series I've seen. It ends in a really bizarre way, but also it's super fucking cheesy because the story that's happening outside of that game is like some weird 1990s BBC like drama shit. Oh, yeah. That's trying to be like a procedural, maybe a little bit. It's trying to have a little bit of drama and some weight, but the acting just isn't there.
No. Yeah.
The guy that plays the FBI agent.
That's the guy, Strom?
The guy who ends up being Jigsaw's accomplice. Hoffman. Oh, yeah. So Strom is the one that has the... See, you can't fucking tell them apart.
No, you can't tell them apart. They're beefy white dudes. I don't I can't even
one guy
describe
is skinnier than the other, and the other one is slighter in build, and the other one has a worse haircut. Otherwise, the characterizations are a little too similar. The detective...
Yeah.
Even describing this, I lose the thread because
I know there's just so much going on.
There's so much going on. So that movie's whatever. 6 is where it gets really weird.
5 did have, by the way, Julie Benz appearing in it. That was the first Buffy actor to appear in a Saw movie. Just
okay. 6 gets weird because it's post recession. The main person being tortured here is a CEO at a insurance company.
Yeah.
Folks, I can see what's his face getting out the big chalkboard talking about how Saw has gone woke. The radical leftist ideology of Saw.
Yeah, yep.
And that one had some good bits.
Yeah. Well, because at the end of 5, Hoffman kills Strom, which was the guy that they looked alike, so that was over.
Yeah.
But then somebody finds out that Hoffman killed Strom, and so that's a whole level of intrigue there.
And some of the reveal of that is kind of fun. Jigsaw's wife gets in on it, and that goes some interesting places. Some of the traps are pretty interesting, but it's a fucking weird ending.
That's the one where, if I remember correctly, Hoffman and Jill are kind of playing opposite ends of the thing, and so like he puts her in a trap. Isn't that the one? No, that's 7.
I just watched these movies, but this one ends with her putting him in the reverse bear trap.
Oh, that's right. It's she puts him in the trap,
and he keeps it from killing him by
putting it between a shelf, right? So
it's 2 bars in a door window.
Yeah, so it just tears his cheek up.
Yeah, and he's able to get it off, and then in the 7th movie...
Yeah, Saw 3D,
or as the final chapter as it is on Amazon.
Which it is not, by the way, because Saw 10 is coming out.
And there's also Jigsaw, and there's Spiral.
True.
7 is one of the worst things I've ever seen, and I've seen many of the American Ninja movies.
Yeah.
It's incredibly misogynistic.
Oh, absolutely. It opens with that awful, the girl cheated, so the guys are going to chainsaw her. Yeah.
Who wants her love, and they decide to let her. And there's just a lot of bad gore, not a lot of good practical effects. You can at least say of the other Saw movies, for all their faults, that a lot of the practical effects kind of fucking hit right.
Yeah, and I think part of that too is that the handoff to this guy Kevin Greater, who did 6, but for whatever reason 7, it does hit different. Like you said, I can't in good conscience like say 7's even a good movie because
it's not even entertaining. Like there's people that come back from the one guy that survives from the first movie, the doctor
Cary Elwes.
Yeah, he comes back and he's in it for all of 5 minutes.
Right.
It's nothing's good about it. The main plot, there's some stuff that is actually interesting about the main plot, about the guy that's being tortured.
Sure.
But nothing is written around it or produced around it well enough to work. And one of the things that my girlfriend kept saying to me while we were watching these movies, I would point out inconsistencies and things like that, and she'd be like, "Babe, you gotta stop thinking. These aren't thinky movies."
Despite all pretense to the opposite, they are not thinky movies.
Well, like the first 2 or 3 movies at least had something to gnaw on, but they really just, these screenplays don't deserve another pass. They deserve to be rebuilt.
Yeah,
these treatments must have been fucking like on a napkin.
Because even they have the one wonderful cameo from Linkin Park's Chester Bennington in 7.
Wait, is that really?
That's Chester.
Because I made a joke. I was like, "Oh, it's the dude from." Linkin.
It is. It was his one of his first and only acting roles. Yes, that was Chester. But I mean,
dude pieced out.
Yeah, he sure did. But I mean, the cast got some interesting additions on 7. You had Sean Patrick Flannery from the Boondock Saints.
Yeah.
Returning Tobin Bell for some reason.
Tobin Bell shows up to be like pedantic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He shows up to be like, I know you're fake.
You have Carrie Elwes, like we mentioned before, Betsy Russell, who has been the ex-wife Jill for a number of years.
And she dies. You finally get to see the reverse bear trap kill someone.
Right.
And
after 7 movies, it finally
after 7
actually
movies,
gets someone.
I was reading the Wikipedia article for this. Apparently, the director was like, this is going to like answer all the questions. And
the only question is, will the bear trap kill someone? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, it's pretty gnarly. Apparently, this movie was going to answer all of the long-standing film questions, the fan questions, and wrap up some of the loose ends and all that. And it technically does, but none of it in a way that gives like good closure or satisfaction, or like that really resonates. And it's like, motherfucker, I just watched all of these movies in the last like 30 days.
Yeah,
this is bad.
Yeah. One of the underrated things about the Saw movies, though, has been Charlie Clouser's music gone throughout it. This one, the soundtrack did have some interesting choices. Deer in Grey, Boom Boom Satellites, you had My Darkest Days, and of course, Chester Bennington's side project Dead by Sunrise, which I feel is like, well, it's contractually out. If you're a musician and you're in a movie, you got to have a song on the soundtrack.
You fucking look at LL Cool J.
Exactly. Rapping about sharks. Well, thankfully, that was not the case with this, but still,
deepest, bluest, my head is like a bear trap.
It definitely did not do well, according to critics.
It is possibly one of the worst horror films I've ever seen. And I've worked at a Blockbuster. It is probably the worst Saw movie.
Yeah, I will definitely give it that, especially the opening. I mean,
the whole movie is based around a really.
It's mean.
It's mean in a way that the other Saw movies aren't. It does not feel good.
After watching these, I'm like, okay, when Hoffman starts being the trap maker and the guy who makes all these decisions, it's kind of a reflection of him versus, what Jigsaw started out as. And
right.
I think that kind of tracks. It doesn't excuse the movie for being vile in a way that the other ones weren't,
right.
Gore is one thing, but this is just like mean. No fun.
Because like Hoffman and Amanda's traps like reflect their flaws as a person and their inability to give people a chance. Like it's very vicious. They're very crude. Right. They don't have the artistry or the thought that Jigsaw's traps are
kind of known for at this point.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, one movie series. And still haven't watched Jigsaw. I haven't watched Spiral. I guess we'll watch. We might go see Saw 10 when it comes out.
Yeah, because, Jigsaw itself is a prequel of sorts. Mm-hmm. Spiral is almost like a side story. You do get to see Chris Rock trying something new with acting. Not quite getting there, but, it's entertaining at the very least.
Wow, another dead white guy. I wonder what he didn't like.
Yeah. Goddamn white guys, always dying like this motherfucker. Yeah, I don't know. I can't do a good Chris Rock, and I don't think I should even try. Really, honestly, Saw.
Goddamn, this motherfucker saw off his foot.
But yeah, you could probably go from Saw 3D, Saw 7, whatever they originally wanted to call it Saw Endgame, so that's a whole nother nonsense title. But so you can go from that to 10 probably without missing anything.
I think for those who are curious or just want to have a little bit of popcorn viewing, I think probably drops off somewhere. Like I think most people are going to drop off around 5 or 6.
Yep. And if you really want to see how Hoffman's story ends, maybe 6 would be your because
with the fucking goofy acting the guy plays Hoffman.
Oh yeah.
Because like when he's killing Strom or Stroff or whatever his name is. Strom. And he's in like the glass fucking sarcophagus, and he's just got this weird look like he's trying not to fart. Like I like it's almost those things like I think he's supposed to be like defiant, but it's almost like I'm trying not to fart on the elevator. Right. And he's got a bloody nose. Yeah, and it just doesn't
work.
Yeah. Some really weird acting in these movies.
It just feels like they were made in a weekend because
they do tend to have very short filming schedules, like not I think like 3 to 6 months. I think they knock most of them out.
Right. So you've got the Clint Eastwood thing where it's like, yeah, you get like 2 takes, man. Either you get it or you don't, and we're going to work with what we got. There's a very real shoddiness that starts to come up despite the budget and despite all this stuff.
I mean, they were never high budget movies. They were always around $10 million, $12 million.
Yeah, but at least in the first 2 or 3, when you're watching the movie, you don't get that feeling that they're cheap. You know what I mean?
Saw 1 and 2 have a very workmanlike quality to them. And there's nothing...
But that's like a Roger Corman thing where they're like making something out of nothing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I think what happens with some of the later movies is that what they're trying to do, the budget can't support, or they're trying to go out, they're trying to bite off more they can chew, where I think the first 2 Saw movies stay in their lane quite well.
Right, they knew what they were, and they weren't trying to be anything else, and that was fine. That was what they wanted to do. Still my favorite thing, and you'll see this when you start watching Sopranos, is that Saw had such a big cultural impact that in The Sopranos, one of the characters wants to be a screenwriter, and so he writes a knockoff Saw script called Cleaver. And they even show you some of the scenes from this Cleaver movie, and it's like, damn.
Well, Tobin Bell's in it.
That's
He's
right.
even in...
Whoever produced those scenes for The Sopranos is clearly a fan of these movies and like knows how to frame it, how certain things look, and like they're very much like it's a loving homage, but it's also very cheesy and worse than Seven. So enjoy that. That's something that doesn't come in till much later in the series, but it was such a big name that like even Sopranos got to name check it with Cleaver. So that was kind of fun.
Amazing. I mean, it was. I mean, there a lot of horror movies in the early aughts were like reboots or bring back something, oh gosh, Frey versus Jason or something like that. I know Frey versus Jason was fun, but
or even like The Ring, where you're remaking a Japanese film,
Ringo. That
type of thing. That was the big J wave, as they called it, which was the American remakes of Japanese movies.
And a lot of those movies were like the originals are really fucking good. I think the original Ring and the original Ju-on, yeah. I think Ju-on is. I saw it with a friend, screened one time on a Thursday at the Regal Theater at the St. Louis Mills Mall. And it was me, my friend, and 2 other people who were like in the opposite side of the theater. And holy shit, that was just like unnerving. And I remember leaving the theater and looking like the other, like it was like a young couple, probably a little bit older than us, because we were probably like 19. Just like, that was fucked up. Like it was one of those things where like if you like we all saw our car crash, but we're not going to report it.
Yeah,
like, those movies were fun for a minute, and then they got weird and kind of lame again. And
well, it's like any slasher movie. I mean, you look back at Freddy and Jason themselves.
Yeah, but like Friday 13th, some of those are really fun. Some of the I would probably say that Nightmare on Elm Street's probably a stronger series.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and you have like such bizarre pieces like Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which I think is one of the best movies of the 80s. It's so bizarre. It's so thoughtful. Has all this weird subtext that is people are still making hay out of.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even Dream Warrior is one of the worst entries in the series. At least has something to say and kind of an interesting point of view. And there's some stuff there. I found this post the other day. Was genuinely excited about it. A guy named Ben Crew, and it's Bill Maher and Jim Gaffigan on Bill Maher's show. Bill Maher, Jigsaw never kills anyone in those movies. And Gaffigan, he definitely does. Maher, watch them again. The choice to live is theirs. Gaffigan, you're saying you could choose to survive the shotgun carousel from Saw 6? Long pause. Maher, I don't count those woke traps. Yeah, by the time they got to 6, it was definitely, you couldn't survive the shotgun carousel. I'm sorry. There's no way. Anyway, this is about the time of the show where we tell you where to find us on the internet. Brian.
You can find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Twitter, at iShotGuideboard, ISHOTGUIDBORD. If you want to check out my music photography, my portfolio is assholemusicphotographer.com. If you want to check out a website I have not updated in a couple months that has words with the photos, it's amusicphotographer.com. My AJJ review is up on the Arts STL. I don't know if I wrote a good review or not.
I liked it.
Thank you. I don't know, comparing Sean to the Godhead, I don't know, maybe I was...
It kind of worked. I liked it.
Yeah. I don't know. Big Bird's kind of a big song, and I don't know, it felt like a really nice way to set. Anyways, trying to think. Got Jeff Rosenstock this week.
Oh, fantastic.
You going to that?
I'm gonna try to convince my wife and kids to go.
Cool. That'd be nice. I think it's gonna be a good time. I haven't seen him play in like 10 years, so that'll probably be up by next weekend. That's theartsstl.com. Lots of good stuff going up there. Jason, where can they harass you?
Oh, indeed, you can find me on Twitter and various other places as Videocrime, VIDEOCRIME. Any other place that's not those things, that's of course Instagram, TikTok. That's Lasergoose CEO, LASERGOOSE. CEO. You can give us a call, 314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO. Shoot us an email, jason@48minutesdogsbarking.com, Bryan with a Y at 48minutesdogsbarking.com, and of course, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. Well, this is about the part of the show where we leave you with some new music. Oh, I am so excited. McCluskey has a new album coming out.
I heard guys who think like that are really stoked.
I enjoy them very much.
Yeah, they're cool.
The new record is entitled Unpopular Parts of a Pig / The Digger You Deep. Yeah, The Digger You Deep. I had to look to make sure I wasn't saying that wrong. It is Unpopular Parts of a Pig / The Digger You Deep. That's the EP title. This, of course, the title track from it. Unpopular Parts of a Pig. And as we always say at this time, namaste and good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Delicate seeds come from delicate flowers. That was the horse shit she fed me for hours. I'll slash my nails, I got it by me. And no one in the dark went 6 that afternoon. I prophesize your death, ay, 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 ay. And that's not the best thing that